It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. Okay, y'all, today is Memorial Day. It is a Monday here. It is May 30th in America, and this is the day, it's the last Monday of the month of May, and in America, this is the day that we celebrate Memorial Day, which is a day where we pay tribute to those people who have sacrificed their lives in service to our country. And I put out a call last week on the channel in a community post asking for suggestions for songs that I might include here on the channel on this very important day. And I specifically asked for metal songs because normally on Mondays we do metal songs for Metal Mondays. And the more I got into it, y'all, I am very thankful for all of the wonderful recommendations that have been put forth to us. But I'm going to go a different way today just because I need to for myself. On this particular Memorial Day, I need to connect with the music that really moves me and allows me to connect with the feelings that I'm having. We have been dealing here in America with a rash recently and for many, many years of violence and specifically gun violence and many lives that are cut short needlessly. And it's traumatizing. And we see it almost every day, and it becomes a burden and it weighs on you when the feeling that these lives are lost senselessly, right? That we could be doing more to mitigate this, and so as I was reflecting on Memorial Day itself, on my own family, I am thankful for family members that have served in the military. Thankfully, I don't have any direct family members or direct friends that have lost their lives in the line of duty. My grandfather served in World War II in the Navy, and I'm very proud of his service, but he lived a long life following that service. My father-in-law served in Vietnam, and I value his service, but he's still with us, and have great respect and love for him. My dad was a bit young to go into Vietnam, but my uncles did, and thankfully, I didn't have any family loss. So whenever it comes to Memorial Day, it's always been about honoring those who have sacrificed their lives, of course, but it's also been almost like an All Saints Day, valuing and paying tribute and remembering those that have just passed, that we know, that we cherish. And in my family and in my wife's family, we both have a tradition of on these weekends, on these Memorial Day weekends, of traveling to cemeteries of our grandparents, of our family members, and laying flowers at the graves and remembering our loved ones. So today is a day for me that's wrapped up with a whole bunch of interrelated feelings. And as I was going through all of your recommendations to decide what to include on the channel today, I just wasn't feeling personally nourished by them. We'll get to them. We'll get to them, y'all. But I wanted to take today to share with you a piece that helps me in times like this, and I hope that it will help you as well. And I am talking about a piece called Lux Aeterna by the British composer Edward Elgar. And today we're going to listen to a performance of it by Voces8. And I hope that you will hang with me because I think this piece will move you. If it doesn't, then we'll try again another time. But I'm offering this today because, man, in times like this is a piece that helps me emote in a way that speaks to my inner feelings and allows me to connect to them in a musical sense that is fulfilling in a variety of different circumstances. Okay, so let's talk about it. This is a wonderful, wonderful piece, y'all. In October of 1898, Edward Elgar was at his piano in an evening with a cigar after dinner, and he began to play on the piano, doodling a bit. And his wife stopped him, and she said, "I like what you're playing, that melody there. Let's check that out and see if something might, be able to be made of it." And he ended up working on it, and he called the tune Enigma. And not because it was a puzzle necessarily to be solved, but because it, in his words, is a dark saying that must be left unguessed, expressing the nothingness from which it came. So, in short order, this little tune that he was just doodling on his piano becomes the theme and the overarching driving force for this set of orchestral variations, being named the Enigma Variations and labeled as Opus 36. For Elgar, Nimrod is the 9th variation, and it has become popular as a standalone piece, often being used at funerals and memorial services and solemn events around the world. It just has this way of reaching out to us, the melody and how it just sort of just jumps out of the texture, right? The piece was arranged for unaccompanied choir, though, and it's a similar way that Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings, which was written first as a movement for string quartet, later became a piece for string orchestra, and not Elgar, Barber himself adapted it using the Agnus Dei text. And, the Agnus Dei is a text that is from the Latin Mass. It means it's an appeal to God to ask for eternal rest. And it worked extremely well for choir in Sam Barber's piece. And so in this Nimrod variation, it has been set with the Lux Aeterna text, also from the Latin Mass. And this Lux Aeterna is traditionally from the Requiem Mass, the Mass for the Dead, and it typically comes after the Agnus Dei in the service. So these two texts mean very similar things. The text itself that you're going to hear is in Latin, but this is what it means. May light eternal shine upon them, O Lord, with thy saints forevermore, for thou art gracious. Eternal rest give to them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them, with thy saints evermore, for thou art gracious. The Lux Aeterna is a text that is ancient and has been set by many, many composers. And the meaning of this particular text and the music itself from Elgar's piece were just perfect matches. So today we're going to hear what in my mind is one of the finest vocal ensembles in the entire world. Y'all, Voces8, they are an a cappella octet from Britain, and they were founded in 2003 by Paul and Barnaby Smith. Voces8 published a performance of this short little piece in 2016 to pay respects for Armistice Day, which is in November. In America, we recognize this day as Veterans Day. So it's the reason that this group initially put out this performance is related to what we're talking about today. I have sung this arrangement, y'all. It is incredibly, incredibly difficult. As the original music was scored for an entire orchestra, now we've got just 8 vocal parts, and here, one on a part. They are singing, there's 8 people, and you're going to be astounded when you hear their sound. They're each singing just one on a part. They're each on their own, and they make it sound absolutely exquisite. In this particular performance, We have Andrea Haynes on first soprano, the highest sounds that you'll hear. Emily Dickens is on second soprano. And then the rest of the people are guys. We have male altos called countertenors. Chris Wardle is first countertenor, which is basically the first alto part. Barnaby Smith is on second countertenor, the second alto part. Blake Morgan is on first tenor. Sam Dressel is on second tenor. Rob Clark is the baritone. And Jonathan Pacey is taking up the low end singing bass. So let's take a look, y'all, and pay tribute to those that we have lost and those that have lost and sacrificed their lives in the line of service. Here we go with Lux Aeterna by Edward Elgar. Here we go. It's an incredibly hard soprano line to sing, y'all. I'm fighting the urge to sing along. Big sound. They're all full voice now. It's amazing leaps in the soprano part that she is unbelievably wonderful at doing. Big phrase. That's my music, a little bit of my kind of music, y'all. That's the kind of music that moves me. I have loved singing in choirs since I figured out that I could do that and have fun. The feeling of standing in a semicircle or a circle and making sounds with other people, it's inherently peaceful. It's inherently uplifting, because if we're singing together, then we're not fighting with each other. You know, we're trying to make each other better. We're trying to live up to our part. We're a part of a whole, but we're an individual as well. And it's what I love about choral music. Absolutely love it. There's no feeling that I have experienced on this planet quite like singing beautiful music with other people. And it just guts me every time. It's why I got into music, and quite frankly, I've been listening to a whole bunch of that stuff and other classical stuff, which is why I've been not listening to all of the music that we've been now getting to here on the channel over the last many months. The original version of this, scored for orchestra, was in the key of E flat major, and for this arrangement, thankfully, it was moved down a whole step to D flat, mainly, as far as I'm concerned, to give the sopranos a fighting chance, because that really high note was a B flat. And the thing that's so hard about it is that the line, I believe, when some of those lines come in, they're jumping up. The first soprano has to jump a perfect fifth up to a high note, and then go down by a seventh, and then back up by a sixth, and then back down by a seventh. And it has to sound like a simple little melodic line. And while all of the music down here is just rich and sort of winding its way through the course of the piece, we get these appeals, these jumps out of the texture, and it just makes you feel like, yes, it's a petition, and it's reaching, and it's praying, if you want to call it that, for what we're talking about. We're talking about being sad and paying tribute and remembering those that are no longer here, and we are. And it's one of the ways that we cope and make sense of the experience, right, of mortality and life and going forward. And so whether it's a life sacrificed and lost in the line of service, in military service, whether it's a life lost at the end of a long and rewarding life, or it's a life senselessly lost, cut down by tragedy, or an accident, or terrorism, or gun violence, or what have you. The music helps us feel these feelings in ways that is, I don't know, not overwhelming to the point of having us break down. It allows us to take this time and feel these feelings. And so I'm just so thankful to have this music to help as we travel through this life. Y'all, this is music that really speaks to me. This is the type of music that I aspire to write myself, and have been aspiring to write for a lot of my career. I love a cappella choral, classic choral sounds, and this was one today that for me, I just needed to hear. And so on this Memorial Day, from this American to the rest of my fellow Americans, and to all of you around the world, I just send heartfelt wishes of peace and love, and just peace and love, y'all. So we'll come back at it. We'll continue to dive into all this music that I haven't gotten to yet, including all of your favorite recommendations in time to come. But today I wanted to take a brief few minutes and listen to this wonderful piece, Voces8. Y'all, if you've never heard this choir before, I guarantee you that there won't be a single track by them that you will not be just utterly gobsmacked by. And there's a ton of other of these. If you're interested, like, ooh, I like these sounds. What other groups can I and composers can I you know, tap into? Send me a note, and I'll see if I can get to more of these. But that's all for today, y'all. I wish you a poignant and meaningful day on this holiday where we remember those that we have lost. And I thank you for tuning in and for indulging me here in this episode. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.